Hey there, it's Lenny McGill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop here in the beautiful Nashville studios, back from the SHOT Show 2025 in Las Vegas. Lots of fun, it really was. It's just it's a candy store for a guy like me because you get to go walk around and see all kinds of cool stuff. And at the Glock booth, I got to meet Mrs. Glock. How fun was that? Catherine, my wife, and I got a picture. But at the Glock booth, one of the most exciting things, and probably the buzz for that whole show, besides their new GTL Light, is the COA. Okay, COA, which is a gun that they have kind of partnered with Aimpoint that comes with the optic mounted. And it's a totally different optic mounting system and a totally different optic. And it's available only through Glock, only mounted on the gun like so. This is a Glock Gen 5. It's available for the Glock 43X, the Glock 48, the 47, the 45, and of course the Glock 19, as you see right here. Okay, now, first of all, Aimpoint is known, worldwide as really one of the premier optics manufacturers. They've been around forever. I mean, literally, I've been around forever, like 40 years. So Aimpoint was around 40 years ago making optics and really came out with the red dot and or one of the pioneers. And this particular unit is pretty tight. I mean, it really is neat. And like I said, it's only available now through Glock mounted on a gun. Aimpoint is not selling these separately. Now, we asked them, and they said, no, and I can't do it. It's like a year, they've got some kind of year contract with Glock exclusive on the actual optic. But I will say, what's really different is the mounting system that they used to mount the new optic to the Glock. Okay, so it's really different. If you can see right here, I'll get a little pointer here. They have a little notch, a little knob in a sense, that the optic kind of tucks underneath, okay? So that's really important. So there's no screws that actually go through the optic. That's something to really consider. It's like, wow, really? So the nose or the lip of the optic kind of tucks underneath this little cut in the optic or in the slide itself. So it kind of tucks itself in there. Then in the rear here, what they have done is they have replaced the dovetail whatsoever. There's no dovetail on this particular gun. It has a rear sight that basically has the two screws, and the rear sight sits on top of another lip in the back of the optic and presses down. So you've got this force in the front, basically. It's kind of catches on that lip underneath the cut on the mill job on the slide itself. And then on the rear, it's got another kind of slopey lip, and then the sights press down with these two screws, the rear sight, and that's what captures the optic onto the slide. It's really amazing. I mean, because again, there's no screws that go through the optic like most of them do, or even the Acro has a side screw and all that stuff going on. So it's really a different mounting system, and it's a whole different optic, and it's designed especially for this Glock. So pretty cool. It does allow you to co-witness with the existing sights, which is very cool. So let's see if we can look through here real quick, and there it is. So basically, that's what you're looking at right there. You can see just a little bit of that front sight. You'll notice the front sight is a little different than their standard offering, a little bit taller, I think. It's just a tad taller than the standard. And the rear sight, is basically right there where you want it to be. So as you come up and present the gun, if you just use a normal view, you really don't have to tilt down too much on this one because it's so darn low to the entire piece. Because what they have been able to do, because they really built this around the gun, they built the optic around the gun, is they milled this pretty deep. So now this really is a red dot that provides the ability to present the gun without really altering your grip from your iron sights. And that's one of the true advantages of being able to mill the slide deep enough to accept the optic so it sits low enough so that you don't have to get up there. And like I've said a lot of times with the red dots is you got to tilt your wrist down just a little bit to bring that red dot into play because the dot sits so much higher. So there's a lot of neat things about the way that they designed this, not only to allow you to co-witness, but also the way it attaches to the gun. It's a full aluminum body. The MOA inside of the dot itself is dot only, but the dot itself is a 3.5 MOA, which means at 100 yards, that dot is going to represent 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches. which is cool, okay, because then at 50 yards, it's 1.75, okay? So now at 25 yards, it's half of that, okay? And then at 12 yards, more self-defense, it's half of that. So that dot becomes a very precise aiming dot. I mean, literally, less than a half an inch, wherever it's at 12 yards and less. So it's really accurate. And that's one of the things that Aimpoint has always been is not only accuracy, but also reliability and consistency, because the robustness of the electronics allows it to maintain its accuracy. And that's one of the things you'll notice with a lot of cheap optics. They look great. You could buy something at a gun show for 25 bucks and you think it looks great. Okay, great. You go ahead and you run around and shoot it a little bit, and all of a sudden that dot's flying all over the place because the electronics are not robust enough, and it just all of a sudden is starting to move on you. So you just never know where you're at with some of those cheap ones. But this is why Aimpoint is recognized by law enforcement and military around the world, and it's kind of the go-to, and that's what Glock decided to do. When they did a partnership, they did it with Aimpoint because Aimpoint's like, top tier. Now, a couple things about this thing that are interesting as well. The battery tray is right here on the side. You don't have to take the sight off. In fact, I haven't taken it off. I've been thinking about it, but I'm thinking, wow, it really just sits in there nicely. I'm just going to look at it and let it go here. But if I were to take it off, I'd take these two screws out of the rear sight, pop that off, and the sight would come out. Okay? But I do want to show you this battery tray because it's a little funky. It's interesting. It has a tool that comes with it. And I'll go ahead and I'll just pop it onto here, and I'm going to remove the screw with this supplied little torque wrench. And as the screw comes out, it's okay, the screw comes out, but this thing is so tight that they provide you with a little tool, a little, little piece that has a little lip on it that allows you to get inside it. Now, if you look at this thing, you really can't tell where it is, but they have on the one side right here on the right-hand side of the tray, it's a little cutout on the inside. So the objective is to get in there with the tool and kind of pry it up. And once you get in there, then you can pry that out. And I will tell you that the first time I did it was really, really tight from the factory. And out comes the battery tray, and the battery is included, by the way. It's in a bag, and I've already installed it here into the little tray. And then it just goes in like so. Now, they claim in their literature that it is waterproof up to 25 meters, which is phenomenal. I would assume that it would be water resistant. I wouldn't necessarily want to live with it down there at 25 feet and have it, or 25 meters and expect it to be good to go. But I would bet if you're in there in the water in a normal area, it should work. So, but again, they're military grade, and so maybe Navy SEALs need to take it deep, and that's what it's all about. So I've tightened this back up. Inside, it's an enclosed optic, as you can see, it's a box, but inside it's nitrogen purged, which means that there's no air inside, it's nitrogen gas. Some people over the past couple of years have started to report that a lot of the enclosed optics are starting to fog up a little bit. Inside it gets its own little atmosphere. It takes a while for that to happen. This is a brand new optic. I don't think that's going to happen with Aimpoint. I mean, Aimpoint, is, like I said, top tier. They're the guys who, really have the confidence of the military and law enforcement. So I assume that this is not going to fog up at all. I haven't seen that personally. I've got an enclosed Hullison on my G43X right here. And it's enclosed and it still looks good. The thing I like about this is it's got the circle dot. The Aimpoint does not have the circle dot. It just has a dot only. But it does come mounted and available. And this is what they call the COA Glocks. Like I said, we just started to receive them. Okay, we've got a lot of orders for them. We are taking pre-orders. We're going to start shipping them. When they come in, it's first in, first out, okay? They're here, and it's happening now. This is, of course, the GlockStore. I am, of course, Lenny McGill. If you're ever in Nashville, come by and see us. We're going to try to get one of these on the rental counter as well because they're so darn cool. So you can always shoot one and just try it. And if you definitely want one, get on the list. and we'll take care of you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.